Computers have become ubiquitous in modern society, influencing nearly every aspect of our daily lives: work, education, communication, and entertainment. Libraries are no exception. In fact, the typical library today integrates computing devices into nearly every service it provides. For patrons, computers provide a gateway to information, from searching catalogs and accessing databases to using productivity tools and engaging with multimedia. For staff, computers power the behind the scenes operations that keep libraries functioning, cataloging new materials, managing circulation, processing acquisitions, and providing interlibrary loans. The presence of these devices reflects a simple truth. Libraries are not only collections of books, they are technology access points. Without computing devices, many patrons, particularly those in underserved communities, would have far fewer opportunities to connect with information and resources that are vital for learning, employment, and civic participation. To understand how libraries use computers, we should first look at their essential components. At the heart is the CPU, or Central Processing Unit, often described as the computer's brain. It coordinates all activity and makes the calculations that allow software to run. Alongside the CPU are input devices like keyboards, mice, and touch screens that allow patrons to interact with the system, and output devices like monitors, printers, and scanners that display or produce the results of that interaction. The motherboard serves as the foundation where all components connect, while the processor executes instructions from software applications. RAM, or random access memory, provides short-term space for running applications smoothly, and storage solutions hold information for the long term. Libraries rely on a combination of internal drives like hard disks or SSDs, external devices like flash drives, and increasingly, cloud storage to provide flexibility and remote access. These essentials may feel invisible to patrons, but their performance directly affects the library experience. A computer with too little RAM or a slow hard drive can frustrate users, while updated systems with SSDs and adequate memory create a smoother, more efficient environment. Libraries provide a mix of devices to meet diverse needs. Desktops remain a staple, especially in labs and staff offices, because of their stability, power, and ability to be easily maintained and upgraded. Laptops offer mobility. Many libraries make them available for checkout, so students or patrons can take them to study rooms, classrooms, or home. They combine portability with features like USB ports and touchpads, and often include lightweight SSDs that improve speed. Mobile devices are also becoming central to library services. Tablets, with their mid-sized touchscreens, are useful for interactive learning and flexible instruction. Smartphones, although not typically provided by libraries, are now critical for accessing library services. Surveys show that nearly half of library staff are expected to use tablets and smartphones in their daily work. This statistic underscores how libraries are adapting to mobile first trends, ensuring that both staff and patrons have tools that reflect how people access information in the broader world. Computing devices are only as powerful as the networks they connect to. Libraries rely heavily on wireless networks to support laptops, tablets, and smartphones. These networks use radio signals and infrared transmission to allow communication without physical connections. A typical library wireless system begins with a wired server connection, which links to a wireless router. From there, strategically placed access points broadcast signals throughout the building. Each device, whether it's a laptop or a phone, connects through its built-in network card. But wireless signals don't respect physical boundaries. That makes network security critical. Libraries often require user logins or other forms of authentication to protect resources and manage bandwidth. Strong security also protects patron privacy, a foundational value of library service. Wireless access is not just a convenience. For many patrons, particularly in rural or underserved communities, the library may provide the only reliable broadband connection they can access. No computing device can function without software. At the foundation is the operating system, which provides the environment where all other applications run. In libraries, Windows dominates the desktop and laptop market, with around 60% of users relying on it. macOS has a smaller share, about 22%, but is important in creative and academic environments. Chromebooks and the Chrome OS platform are emerging as cost-effective options, particularly in K-12 and some public library settings. Operating systems are more than technical details. They shape the user experience. They manage multitasking, provide graphical interfaces, and handle communication between hardware and software. Mobile devices are split between iOS and Android, and libraries must support both, ensuring apps and online platforms work across systems. For patrons, consistency matters. A library service that functions smoothly on a desktop but poorly on a smartphone risks alienating its users. This reality pushes libraries to design services that are platform agnostic and accessible everywhere. Understanding how computers operate helps staff troubleshoot and maintain systems. The boot up process begins when the computer checks its components, memory, storage, and hardware, before loading the operating system. Once running, the OS manages background processes while applications perform specific tasks. Shutting down properly is important as it allows the system to close applications cleanly and clear memory. Frequent power cycling can wear out components, so many libraries recommend turning machines on at the start of the day and leaving them running until closing. When devices lock up, the first step is often to close unresponsive applications. If input devices like the keyboard or mouse stop responding, a full reboot may be necessary. Knowing these steps ensures staff can minimize downtime and maintain smooth service for patrons. Peripherals extend the functionality of computing devices. Monitors are now typically flat panel LCDs, often large enough to allow multitasking or display high-definition content. Printers remain a cornerstone of library service, with laser printers providing efficient high-volume output and inkjet printers offering low-cost color printing for smaller tasks. Scanners allow patrons to digitize documents and images, and multifunction devices combine scanning, printing, and copying. Libraries also use a range of input peripherals, including mice, microphones, webcams, and barcode readers. Each serves a specific purpose, whether it's enabling communication, supporting digital creation, or streamlining library workflows. While peripherals may seem secondary to the computer itself, in practice, they define much of the patron experience. A jammed printer or malfunctioning scanner can cause frustration, reminding us that small devices can have a big impact on service quality. When selecting computing devices, libraries must balance performance, cost, and intended use. For processors, a multi-core CPU is now the standard, with dual-core systems sufficient for basic tasks and quad-core or higher recommended for more demanding applications like video editing. Memory is equally important. Public access machines may function with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but staff workstations and multimedia devices often need more. Mobile devices typically require 4 to 6 gigabytes to handle today's applications. Storage needs vary. Desktops and laptops usually range from 500 gigabytes to 2 terabytes, while mobile devices may operate with as little as 16 gigabytes, though 64 gigabytes or more is preferred for heavy app usage. Connectivity is another factor. Staff devices often need multiple USB ports, wired Ethernet, and wireless capabilities. Public devices may prioritize Wi-Fi and simple plug-and-play functionality. Technology evolves quickly. What meets today's minimum requirements may not be sufficient tomorrow. Libraries must plan for regular updates to ensure devices remain functional and relevant. Computers influence nearly every library operation. In collection management, they support cataloging, acquisitions, and circulation systems. Self checkout kiosks and mobile inventory devices streamline workflows and improve efficiency. For interlibrary loan, computers allow requests and fulfillment to move quickly, with articles scanned and transmitted electronically. Access to online resources is one of the most visible uses for patrons. Through library computers, users reach databases, e-journals, and reference collections, often extending access remotely through authentication systems. Libraries also provide internet access itself. For some patrons, the library is their only reliable connection, making computers a lifeline for communication, employment, and education. Finally, computers support productivity and instruction. Patrons use Microsoft Office, Google Drive, or open source tools for word processing and spreadsheets. Staff create presentations, tutorials, and screencasts with software like Adobe Captivate or Camtasia, extending the library's teaching mission. Every one of these uses underscores that computing devices are not just tools in libraries. They are enablers of access, learning, and opportunity for the communities they serve.